What it is, y'all, it's your old boy Pilg, and today I'm coming back with the video you guys know you really need, especially tonight. We have 6 brand new units incoming on 2 banners, a major power creep. We got a whole lot going on, and per usual, double gotcha rates. Now, I'm going to refute the 4-star claim here. It has been like double 2-star rates for me. It has been wild. It has been painful, but maybe tonight our luck will turn around. So I don't know, guys. We will be live streaming all the polls tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time, so make sure you guys are there. Before we get too much further, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Once again, that's the best way you can get updates on the live streams and all that when they happen, and also these videos when they go up. Let's just jump in here. Face first, I guess. The Knights of Vienna, Tracks of Courage Gotcha. So we've got Panel 1 and Panel 2. This is going to be the first gotcha, and the first thing you need to know is this Finn, we are going to get a free-to-play bond of him no matter what. We're getting one out of the tail. So long as you grind out the tail, you're 100% going to get a free Finn. So that actually will be a major, major help. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of what these units do. So Finn, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday in the video, 4612 HP. Now remember, if you've been here any kind of time, I've been touting for the last year or so that, 4,000 HP was a good number, and we just jumped the shark like 50%, well, 25%. I won't exaggerate, not even 25%, whatever, like a percentage. We jumped the shark a bunch, a decent. It's a percentage, nevertheless. Math hard. But yeah, we're in like the 4,500 range for HP, and even like our endurance stats. 733 is one of the lower endurance stats for the current run, and that just means he's not going to be as rough and tumble as the other units. Now, in fairness, if we had seen 733 this time last year, we would have lost our damn minds. So this is a really, really, really nice stat. 2194 is a triple S. We're about in the level of like quad S pretty soon. Physical stats, they're insane. 933 for endurance is really good. 1278 for agility is really good. It's a fantastic unit all the way around. Now, the skills make all the difference in the world, and the passives even more so. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So skill 1, which is going to be our obligatory single target attack. Skill 1 is a foe singular, 57 MP cost, foe singular, highlight physical attack with ultra penetration rate, skill damage 20% per strength, magic, endurance, agility, and dex buff. Now do the math on that. That becomes 100% real quick, and if you have all 5 of those buffed on the assist side, that becomes 200%. So in the right circumstance, that could be killer. Most of the time, you're probably not going to get the full 200% out of that, but I'd be shocked if in most circumstances you wouldn't get 160 to 180%. With even a remotely respectable team build, you should be pulling that all day and all night. So, because remember, it doesn't matter what the percentage boost is on the assist side. Even like 1% doesn't matter. Now, there's a lot of 1% out there, but that doesn't matter. So long as he has the boost, any percentage, he's going to get that extra 20%. So that is a good, solid number. Good, solid number. Skill 2 is a 110 MP cost, which is a bit pricey. It's a foe's plural super class, light physical attack with ultra uncounter rate, temporary strength boost, and foes, AoE and single target damage taken plus 30%. Now we're in the realm of 35% being really good, but 30% is still exceptionally good. And being that it's single and AoE is a huge benefit. That means having him on a team really instantly makes all of your AoE attacks and all of your counters really strong. So that's really nice. And on top of that, he also does, let me find it here again. He also does light resist down 40%. Both of those are for 2 turns, but remember, turn replication is a thing. And he also does self-strength and light attack damage 70% for 2 turns. So you really have to have someone on there to replicate buffs and debuffs. So we have plenty of those in the game now. He's going to be fine. Skill 3 is a 230 MP skill, so you're only going to get this off once a game. Allies slow, remove strength, magic, and agility debuffs, and add 1 KO save if HP is greater than 10%. Once you drop below 10%, that's removed. Add 3 additional actions, foes plural, mid-light physical attack, and remove agility, physical resist, and magic resistance buffs. So, basically the way this works, you're going to get this once per game, more or less, once per round. It's not going to be able to use this very often unless you have a really, really, really aggressive MP healing. I mean, really aggressive MP healing. So when you do this, the only reason you're doing this is because you need to remove debuffs on your opponent, and you really need to remove their buffs repeatedly. The downside here is that means this extra action becomes extremely costly. Not costly, costy. Because you drop at 230 MP for 3 turns of buff removal, which is nice. Don't get me wrong. It's very, very nice. But you're going to basically get those extra actions off once. You're banking on those being a thing. Now, in Wargame, that can make all the difference in the world. But in most other rounds, you're not looking at a huge amount of benefit from this. But like I said, in Wargame, it'll murder. SA is foe singular. And actually, funny enough, not an AoE SA, which you would expect. It's a foe singular, ultra light physical attack, skill damage plus 100% per self strength buff. So that means any strength buff on him, which would be on the adventure side and the assist side. Unfortunately, we've already tested this out. It does not count for Memoria, which sucks. But nevertheless, on the adventure and the assist side, which means I really do need to reword this, then you're going to get 200%, which you should have easily, and add 4 additional actions, foe singular, highlight physical attack, and allies, strength, magic, endurance, agility, and dex, plus 60%. And SA gauge charge, plus 66%. All of that is for 2 turns, and foe singular physical resist down 60% for 2 turns. So this skill does an insane amount. His SA is wild, and it's going to be game-changing for Record Buster. The Record Buster incoming tonight, you're going to need Finn 100% for that, and he is going to be an insane, insane asset. Let's look at these passives. We didn't talk about passives yesterday. 45% dark resistance, and counters and regular attacks are light physical attacks. 35% strength, endurance, agility, and dex. So on top of those really good stats, he gets even more. 20% damage on critical and penetration. 60% counter damage. It's usually 50. 60% counter damage is huge, and a giant killer. This unit's really good. Unit's spectacular. He's going to be a bit weird to run with that skill 3, but that skill 1 and his SA are going to be absolutely bonkers. Absolutely nuts in Record Buster tonight. And for a while, I would imagine. I think this team is going to have to... It's going to be like when Tiona dropped on us, that really beautiful, like, Magic Fire Tiona that everyone was like, oh my god, this unit's game-changing. It's like 300% attack. Let's go. And we only got to use her once because she was just too damn powerful. So, yeah. I do think, though, with as many of these units that they've given us and being an anniversary unit, they want you to flex these units for the next year. So any of you guys that have seen like my consistent running of water units from last year and even until this year, even in the current like 7 zones and all that, that's going to be the light team going forward. The light team's going to be just absolutely nuts. Let's talk about Galamus real quick. Galamus is 4688 HP. Once again, I talked about that. That's a phenomenal HP stat. 2159 for physical stat is insane. 888 for endurance makes him an insane tank. 923 for dex and 1140 for agility. He's a little slow, but he really makes up for it in tanking ability. Let's look at his skills, because that's what's going to make the biggest difference here. Skill 1 is a 36 MP cost. Foe singular. Basically, these units are all built upside down. The skill 1 is skill 3, and skill 3 is skill 1. Skill 1 is a 36 MP cost, foe singular, super earth physical attack with ultra penetration rate, temporary great strength boost. Now, the downside here for Galamus is no percentage boost, making me really go, man, skill 1's a throwaway, and it makes me super sad. But don't count him out yet. Skill 2 is a 62 MP cost, not too bad. Foes plural super class earth physical attack with ultra and guard rate, temporary strength boost, and shortened status buffs by 2 turns. So that's really nice. So he'll decrease status buffs on all foes, which is kind of nutty. We haven't had too many units that do that. The units that do that wind up being niche, but also really deadly in certain circumstances. Looking at you, Wargame. And self, 70% HP heal, and strength plus 70%. That's right, you heard me. 70% HP heal every time he gets that attack off. This Galamus can be great in Wargame for a long time. Skill 3 is a 76 MP cost. Once again, a little pricey, but allies, fast, AoE, and single target damage taken down 40%. So that reduces the incoming damage a lot. Stun resistance plus 100%, which I did talk about yesterday. I think is going to be something interesting for the new 7 zones. I think the double ailment 7 zones are coming back. We haven't had one in like a year and a half or something like that, and I would love to see them return now. All of that, so single target damage down 40%, stun resist 100% for 5 turns, self, earth attack damage, and guard rate and counter rate 70% for 5 turns, and 3 additional actions, foes, mid-earth physical attack. SA is a foes plural, ultra earth physical attack with ultra penetration rate, temporary great strength boost, remove status buffs, and allies physical resist and earth attack damage and counter rate and ailment resist plus 70%. You heard that right. That's all ailment resistances, 70%. This dude is super anti-ailment and he's wild. I'd be shocked if he didn't become a war games like just get must have, but he's more defensive though. That's one thing to really take away from this. He is more defensive, but I think he'll still pay the bills. Okay, 45% thunder resist counters and regular attacks are earth physical attack with a 75% taunt. That's a huge thing. So, unless they're running anti-taunt, basically you have a 3 in 4 chance of hitting whoever you hit with a counter with a taunt. And that's nice, because that negates their ability to do AoE attacks. This is one of the big things about this unit that's going to make him a game changer in Wargame. Because while the rest of his skills, you're going to like, okay, I kind of see it. It's not bad. He's well built. This taunt is the hidden gem in this unit and is basically going to make him deadly in Wargame. You're going to have to run some serious anti-taunt, or at least serious anti-ailment or something. And if you see him on the team, you're pretty much going to hate life. 35% strength, endurance, agility, and dex, 40% damage reduction on guard, not penetration, but he's all about tanky. So, 40% damage reduction on guard. That's very nice. And once again, a giant killer. Galamus really defensively minded, but he's going to be phenomenal for defenses in Wargame. All right, I butchered her name yesterday. It's Al-Kitini. Al-Kitini. Kitty cat. Queen Felice. Queen Felice. We talked about this a lot yesterday. I'm a little underwhelmed by her stats because 988 for HP isn't really great in this day and age. 426 for both magic and physical is kind of bad. 594 is her highest stat, and that's a dex stat, and aside from obviously HP. And that's kind of like, how often do you buff dex? But she's mandatory. You gotta have this unit. She's light attack damage and earth attack damage plus 25%. So she's the first 25% elemental assist. Guard rate plus 20% and self strength and magic plus 20%. This unit is nuts, and you gotta max her. You absolutely have to max this unit. She's gonna be mandatory on like just about every team. All right, banner number 2. And first things first, we're gonna talk about Elmina. Elmina. 4580 for HP, so a little lower than the rest. 603 for endurance isn't the best. 2152 for physical stat, though, is phenomenal. And 1259 for agility makes her a speedy unit. So, good unit. Don't count this one out by any stretch. Skill 1 is a 38 MP cost, foes singular, super earth physical attack with ultra encounter rate, 80% skill damage per self strength buff. So not as hard hitting as the rest, but still exceptional nevertheless. She's going to be really good in Record Buster and Wargame with a skill like that. Though there is going to come a time when these 80% skills are going to fall off the map a bit. For now, I think she's going to be really good in any one of those events. We're just seeing way too many 100%ers nowadays, but for now, I really adore what she does. And for the next 6, 7, 8, 9 months, basically until we start ramping up for the anniversary next year, she'll still be stellar. Skill 2 is a 55 MP cost, foes plural, super earth physical attack with ultra encounter rate, earth resist down 40% for 4 turns, and self earth attack damage plus 100%. She gets earth attack 100%, y'all. For 4 turns. 3 additional actions. Foes plural mid-earth physical attack with high critical rate. Skill 3 is a 50 MP cost. Foes fast. Guard rate and counter rate down 40% and AoE damage taken plus 40%. All for 1 turn, so you really need to buff that, but this is more like a spammable skill. You'd basically hit skill 2 and then spam skill 3 just to keep all that in play. Allies, strength, dex, critical rate, all up 40% for 1 turn, though. But once again, this is her spammable thing. It does stink. It's a slow attack. But yeah, but it is kind of nice. Not even her spammable attack, now that I'm really looking at it, because it is more of just like a buff and debuff. Because you really wouldn't want to spam this. You'd want to spam 2. So really, the more I'm pondering this, skill 3 is like, once you have everything established and you've got a buff debuff replicator, then you hit them with that. But you got to have the buff debuff replication before you hit skill 3. So it isn't overpowered. It's still well balanced. It's mitigated and limited by the team build. But once you get that replication on, you'll be good to go. So you wouldn't really want to hit this rapid fire. You really want to rapid fire skill 2, which is nice because skill 2 is really, really cheap as far as MP is concerned. But yeah, skill 3 is one of those you're not going to use terribly often because it is going to mitigate your the amount of damage you're producing. But when you do, it's a support slot that'll like absolutely cripple your opponent. SA is a foes plural ultra earth physical attack with ultra on guard rate and temporary grade strength boost. Physical resist down 60% for 3 turns and self 120% strength and 3 additional for 3 turns and 4 additional actions. Foes plural high earth physical attack with high critical rate. So she gives herself 120% strength, but most of the time you're not going to utilize that because you're going to be buffing strength with someone else. So probably if you do anything with this, you're going to use her physical resistance, and that's about it. But we'll just have to see how this plays on. And yes, that 120% strength is only for herself, not for anybody else, only herself. 45% thunder resist. All attacks are... no, I take that back. 45% thunder resist. When countering, instead of attacking, extend foes' debuffs by 1 turn. Okay. So she actually doesn't hit like the other ones do. What she does is she extends debuffs, which is really, really, really nice. So that should absolutely blindside your opponent and be awesome. Status, see, 35% strength, agility, and dex. 30% damage on critical. and a giant killer. So a good build, more of really a support role, but she's going to be able to hold her own. She's got enough damage to do it. Elmina, fantastic unit. I told you guys, I love the anniversary units. They always, like, even if you weren't like enamored with part 1, parts 2 and 3 really came through, and I expect the villain's banner to be pretty beefy as well. Yuri! Alright. So Yuri has 4612 HP, once again not the highest, and only 628 endurance, so not the greatest, but 2179 physical stat more than makes up for that. 1224 agility means he's going to be very, very fast. Let's look at what he truly does, though. Okay? Skill 1 is a 49 MP cost, foe singular, super wind physical attack, with ultra critical rate, skill damage 80% per foe singular, wind resist debuff. So you really got to have those wind debuffs on there, but it still is capable of going up to 160%, so it's very nice. Skill 2, 71 MP cost, foes plural, super fast, wind physical attack, will alter encounter rate, remove strength, magic, and dex buffs, and wind resist and critical rate and penetration rate down 40% for 5 turns. I see a lot of uses for this skill, especially in, upcoming Familia events. It'll be really interesting to see how that works out. I would expect there are going to be some foes in the new Familia event that are going to be buffing a lot, and you're going to have to deal with that. But they gave us units to do it. Skill 3 is a 196 MP cost, so this is very expensive. It is a self, slow, strength, agility, and ailment resist plus 70%. And allies add 1 physical nullification, add 3 actions, foes plural, mid wind physical attack with ultra critical rate, and self wind attack damage plus 70% per 3 turns. Also removes all of the ailments. So that skill 3 is a lot to take in, but the long and the short of it is you buff your strength, agility, and ailment resist. You nullify 1 physical attack. You basically, just cut a swath through your opponent, more or less. And it's got the extra actions and everything. It is just crazy. Skill 1 is a foe's plural ultra wind physical attack with ultra critical rate. Skill damage per foe singular, wind resist debuff, and foes endurance and physical attack down 60%. So how this works basically is when you strike everybody, it's assessed, does that unit have a wind resistance debuff? And you should have applied it to everybody, so the answer is everybody should have that, but it's going to be based on the individual unit being hit at the time. So if you're AoE and you're hitting 3 units, each one of these units has to have the wind physical resistance, or the wind resistance, in order to get the damage. Pretty straightforward, though. Endurance physical resist down 60% is just a general debuff, nothing too crazy. 45% earth resist, counters our wind physical attacks. Counters our wind physical attack damage plus 35% per foe wind resistance debuff. So there's a 35% damage modifier on this, and remember that becomes 70%. So let's just take a minute here to appreciate what Yuri just did here with this. Once again, they hit something really crazy in the passive skill. Wind physical damage 70% is basically what you're going to get. 35% per wind resistance debuff. Remember, you can assist on the debuff on the assist side and the adventurer side, which means that becomes a 70% hit in a counter. Counters from Yuri are going to be absolutely crazy. You're not going to want to watch this guy counter. It's going to be unless he's your unit. But if you're coming at him at like war game, you see him counter, you're going to be like, rip. All right. 35% strength, agility, and dex. 30% damage on critical and a beast killer. So just a great unit all around, guys. Everybody on these banners, you really need to try to max these banners out because these banners are nuts. Let's talk about Alf. Final unit on the 3 banners. An Alf is an assist. 1204 HP, which is not bad at all. I love having that over 1,000. 430 physical and magic isn't going to... 430 physical, 330 magic isn't going to oppress anyone. 660 agility is. It's a great agility stat. Let's see what Alf does, though. So, Alf is a self. So remember, that is self. That's only who he's tied to. Strength and agility, 20%. All allies get agility and critical rate, 15%. And 4 instant effects when attacked. Foe singular, strength, and magic down 40% for 1 turn. And remove physical resistance buffs. So, basically what happens is when somebody attacks whoever, let's say Alf is attached to Elmina or something. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Whoever he's attached to is basically going to get this really crazy extra stat. So when they get hit, for the first few times they get hit, was if I believe 4 times. Add 4 additional effects. So when he gets attacked, he's going to hit them back with a strength and magic down 40%. The damage will be buffed and will remove all the physical and magic resistance buffs. So pretty wild, guys. Pretty wild. These units are all really, really, really insane. Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments down below. I hope you are all able to max all these units out free to play because they're all substantial. I know it's a high bar, but that would be the preference. For now, guys, we'll be back tonight. As I said before, 9 p.m. Eastern Time will be the live stream. Like, comment, share. I'll see you all then.